All right. Hello and welcome in, everyone. My name is Hong Win, and I'm part of the Careers and Professional Development team here at WGU. Our team is here to support you through things like resumes, interviews, job search strategies, and connecting you with great employers through sessions like this. I'm so excited to kick off today's session as we are starting our Spring Career Quest series. Career Quest is all about creating space for connections, learning, and real conversations with employers and leaders. We know the job market can feel challenging at times, so our goal is to create opportunities like this to help you feel more prepared, connected, and confident as you navigate the career path. We also want this to feel like a community, so we encourage you to stay engaged, connect with each other, and make the most out of these sessions. To kick us off, I am so excited to welcome Ali here. She's the Talent Acquisition Supervisor at Taylor Corporation. Ali has been such a fantastic partner in sharing the great opportunities available at Taylor, and we're so grateful for her time today. And she'll be sharing a little bit on the company and the opportunities there. Taylor Corporation is a company that supports brands nationwide through marketing, print, and digital solutions. She'll give us an inside look on what a career at Taylor looks like, the opportunities and growth, and we're so excited for you to join us here and for your time, Ali. So with that, I will pass things over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And I will say too, I'm very interactive and casual throughout the presentation. So please, if there are questions throughout, feel free to ask as we go. No need to wait. I will get my screen shared. And then give me a green light when you can see that. Hong, are we good to go?
Looks good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm seeing the presenter view, so I do see the notes here.
Let me switch that over. Is that better?
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, so I am going to talk a little bit about Taylor Corporation, what a career would look like, and then also how we can stay connected as well. Here is our brief agenda. So I'll go through just Taylor in general. Wanted to kick things off with that before I dive into my introduction, just so that it makes sense where my role fits in. From there, we will talk through different roles and opportunities within the organization, growth, development, career pathways. Those can look a bit different at Taylor than they might at another organization. And then we'll go through what the pre-employment process could look like and how to connect with us here after today's call. So, a high level overview of Taylor Corporation. So, we have really been ingrained in the print and graphics communications industry for quite a number of years, but Taylor Corporation itself was established 51 years ago now, here in 2026. Mr. Glenn Taylor, he worked at Carlson Wedding Services, which is based in North Mankato, Minnesota. And in 1975 is when he bought the organization and then has since grown it to the scale that we are today. We still have our headquarters in North Mankato, Minnesota, but we are a global organization. I'll go into our reach here in the next slide. But Glenn really founded the organization on a few different guiding principles. One is the belief that there's always a better way. So that's continuous improvement focused, making sure that we're staying ahead of the curve as much as possible. The pursuit of excellence in every detail. So making sure that we are delivering to the best of our abilities and again, being, that choice in the market for any printed or graphics communications materials. And then a focus on what others can't or won't do. So aside from organic growth within our organization. We're also an organization built on acquisition, and we still are taking on acquisitions every single year to date. And oftentimes that's in a market or a niche area where we don't already have capability or want to dive deeper. So as far as our reach, so we, as I mentioned, are global. The biggest presence that we have is in the US, but we're over 10,000 employees, and we're in over 50% of the US states, so quite large. We have over 90 locations around the world. Mexico and Canada also have facilities, and then the remainder of them are overseas. This is a really big snapshot, again, very high level of what Taylor is capable of. And these are the buckets that we categorize within. While I mentioned that we, are built on acquisition as well as organic growth, having acquisitions means we have multiple different business units. So we have our leadership team at the corporate level, and then from there we've got kind of subdivisions or different buckets for our business units that really kind of hone in on their areas of specialty. And that being all of these areas. So corporate identity and branding, we have gift and loyalty, document management, labeling. Those are just a few of the areas that we specialize in. But essentially, if you see something and it is printed, it likely is something that can go through one of our facilities. We have really become, that trusted partner for a lot of top brands in the nation. And so this is a really quick and easy way to see how Taylor is getting out there in the market. We're working with big names in insurance, big names in restaurant chains, department stores. So we've really worked to get our name out there and also be a partner behind the scenes to a lot of the organizations and companies that you probably interact with on a regular basis. For a snapshot of that, here are just a few of our customers that we get to work with every single day. And again, likely ones that you have probably interacted with. So with Starbucks, right? There's those labels that get stuck on the cups that have your order and your name. Those are things that are printed within our facilities. With Nike, if you walk into a Nike store and don't shop online, right? You're going into a store, you might see those signs that are up in between the clothes that showcase all of their sales. And so those retail signs are things that we also print within our facility. Amazon, we do a lot of work with Amazon, but in short, like gift cards, right? Gift cards are something that we print. So very high level, but again, all of these brands are ones that we get to work with regularly. We get to, produce and manufacture some really exciting products within our facilities. So now where does my role fit in and a little bit about me? So I have been with Taylor over 5 years. I am based out of our corporate office in North Mankato. I live just outside the area and have a degree in HR management. I was born and raised in Minnesota. I actually moved to the Twin Cities, which is about an hour away from North Mankato, to go to school for my bachelor's degree, and also had a position in the Twin Cities that was, giving me opportunities to gain more skills and kind of excel in my career. Until I was able to find kind of my landing spot here at Taylor Corporation, which has been amazing. I am married. I've got 5 kids total. 4 girls are my own, and then I have a stepson. So they all range from our oldest is 11, and then the youngest is 3. So kind of in the thick of it right now, but it's very fun. They're getting into sports, all good things. And so here I'll talk through a little bit about my career trajectory here at Taylor. So I entered into Taylor as a recruiter 1. And really progressed throughout recruiter 2, 3, and then into a supervisor role. And so how my position has evolved, coming in as a recruiter 1, I was focusing on our manufacturing facilities, really those quick turn roles, those that are high volume, that I could really come in and get to know the business and what we do, boots on the ground. Moving into the recruiter 2 seat, I shifted focus where I still had some of those manufacturing and operations roles and still got to be in the day-to-day busyness of that, but then also shifted into some of the exempt level roles and doing hiring for um, IT, accounting, marketing, right? And then moving into the recruiter 3 bucket, I solely was focused on exempt roles. I've touched probably every area within an organization that one could hire for, but my specialty areas, if you will, is operations, leadership, accounting, and IT. Um, our team, so we are a talent acquisition group. We have about 9 of us total within the team, and we support Taylor Corporation at large. So we support at the enterprise level, and we also support across every single one of our subsidiaries. So we are very busy day in and day out, but it's super fun and no day is ever dull, which I love. So there's always something new to learn. There's new folks to connect with. But something that I think is really ingrained in our culture is just the personability that we have across the organization. So I can work with a leader that sits halfway across the US and probably not have, a requisition to support them on for about a year. I come back and it's like we pick up where we left off. So there's so much of that connection that takes place every day. And then here in my role now as talent acquisition supervisor. So, as I mentioned, our corporate office is in North Mankato, Minnesota. We have kind of a campus of about 12 facilities here in North Mankato. So it's our biggest campus, whereas some of our other locations are just one-off facilities in different cities. And so we have a need to have a larger presence of our recruiting team in North Mankato. So I oversee the local team of recruiters. We do have some that sit in other states. And so my role as a supervisor is supporting the local team of recruiters. I also still do take some requisitions as they come available for specific roles and leaders. And then I do some really exciting projects. We have headed up an intern experience, if you will, that is taking off in 2026 here for the summer for the first pilot of that. The goal is to have there be some consistency within the organization for interns and a way to kind of tie that all together between our business units. We also are doing some leadership development classes that are run through our talent acquisition and learning and performance teams. So that is something that I'm involved in as well. So again, kind of a good mix of that recruiting, people leadership, and then also some project work too. Diving into roles and opportunities. Hung, are there any questions so far before I get into more of the nitty gritty?
Nope, no questions so far.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, getting into roles and opportunities at Taylor. Like I mentioned, we have our enterprise level, and then we have our various different subsidiaries or business units. We have a few groups that are center of excellence teams, or those that support enterprise wide, and then in a majority of cases within different groups in the business. Every business unit has their own leadership team and their set of core functions. So what I mean by that is, we've got our corporate and business functions such as HR, finance, legal, marketing. Those are teams that support enterprise wide. If you're looking at a career in, let's say, technology or operations, those are going to be business unit specific. So we need, tech to operate per business unit. They could have a different technology stack. And then we also do have our corporate teams for those too. We have careers in various operations roles, so could be in production, but it could also be in continuous improvement and really making sure that everything is high performing in each of our facilities. We have our sales teams. Sales is moving to a center of excellence structure, but we still do have sales folks within each of our businesses as well. And then client services, so account management, customer success, all of those pieces are also still dedicated per business unit. One thing that is nice about being tied to a specific business unit is that you're closer to the work that's being done and you're able to see things come to fruition a lot easier than working at the enterprise level. But then on the flip side, Working at the enterprise level, you get to see all of the cool things that we're doing Taylor-wide. So from our travel tags business unit to our corporate graphics business unit, right? You get to see kind of the big picture of all of it. We also have careers in creative and product development. So graphic design is a big piece of it. We have a lot focused on innovation. So could be a bridge of marketing, could be our graphic specialists. We have a role for each of those. They kind of all have their own subdivision, being that we're focused on graphics communications here. And then early careers. So internships we very much have. And I'll get into a bit more of that as well here in the presentation. And then entry-level roles. So Taylor is really good about internal development, and that is a core focus for us, is making sure that we're developing our employees and aligning with goals that they have, whether that be development upwards, maybe that's more in a lattice structure and just wanting to kind of explore skills in other areas. But that provides us the ability to kind of build our bench and then bring folks in more at that entry level role and then build them up from there as well. So you really can take your career in a few different areas. Talking about starting a career with us. So I'll dive into internships a bit here and just kind of share about what that would look like here at Taylor. So we really strive to have real world experience for our internships. So you're not coming in and just doing some ad hoc projects on the side. Our interns are brought in to be able to dive into the work that the team is doing and have exposure to all of the projects that they're working on. You get to oftentimes see something beginning to end within an internship. And then at the end, there usually is kind of a capstone or a presentation where you get to share out with other business leaders the work that you've been doing. So you get really good visibility and are able to build connections that way too. There's a variety of different opportunities that we have for internships. So pretty much every area of our business does hire internships. We have a fully built out intern program for our sales team. So they have a sales academy that they have 3 times a year, spring, summer, and fall. Aside from that, our internships are as needed for various teams. So I know our accounting and finance group, they generally have 3 to 5 interns per year. HR usually has 1 to 2 a year. We've got internships in IT, operations, and more. Marketing also brings them on as well. And there are different internship opportunities depending on if it's at the business level in a business unit or at the corporate or enterprise level. So you could really see that across the board. Something that I think helps Taylor stand out for an internship experience is that we really focus on mentorship and development, and that goes hand in hand with what we look at providing for our internal employees. So not only do you come in and get to, have some guidance from your direct leader, but oftentimes you'll get to interact with other leaders here and network and get some feedback from other leaders too that are in the work every single day. And then also there's the skill building and professional development side of it as well. So, if you are looking for an internship here in sales, that could mean, what does it mean to create a pitch? What does it mean to prospect? What does it mean to have that initial call with a potential client, right? So you get to go out and actively exercise those skills as well. And then a lot of times our internships are carved out to have an opportunity for full-time permanent employment with us at the end of that internship. So I know for our accounting and finance team specifically, they don't necessarily have an internship for 3 months. They bring someone on and it could be 1 to 2 years as you finish your degree, and they hope to have you on permanently. Our sales team, that's a big generator for our business development representatives and account executives, is coming through the sales academy and going through that rigorous structure. So that is one area that I feel like Taylor really stands out from other organizations, is we oftentimes don't look at internships as an open and shut within a few months. And what to expect with our internships. So all of our internships are paid. You also will come in and have structured onboarding. So usually you'd have, the structured onboarding in the beginning of it and continual throughout the entire time. So that way you can continue to gain new skills and have experience to various different projects. But then you also get to network with other leaders and peers. So aside from what I mentioned, with getting to get some feedback and network with other leaders, part of our intern experience that we're launching really provides kind of some set pillars and checkpoints for interns to network amongst each other as well throughout the entire summer. So that way you can build your own network and talk with others that are in a similar situation as you. Thinking about, right, like what does it look like from internship into permanent employment? So I mentioned that Taylor is unique in we have different ways that you can grow and develop. That could be growing up the ladder, right, and seeking out those different promotions. It could be growing across and going from one company to another company, or expanding your career that way, or it could be growing deep. So really looking to be a subject matter expert. So an example that we look to our employees as an option for growing up is advancement. That could be, building our bench. Maybe you're coming in at a team lead role within one of our manufacturing facilities. You could grow through the various steps to go into a manager role and then into a director role. That is a direct career path from entry point. Growing across. So I know I talked about, right, like you could move from company to company, but every company has its own unique set of solutions and products that they offer our customers. So you really would, while coming in with a basis of print and what our organization does, it could essentially feel like a new role where you are learning a whole new business, you're learning all new clients. And really the process for how our manufacturing products get out. So you can grow across and challenge yourself that way. And then growing deep. So we do have certain teams that are really focused on subject matter experts, or SMEs, as it's termed in the corporate space. And so one of those examples is within our IT function at the enterprise level. We have a separate IT group for networking, then we do servers, then we do our help desk, then we do cybersecurity. So they all are kind of segmented into their own bucket, and they are the subject matter experts there. So that is also an area of opportunity as well, is if you really just want to be an expert in one specific area of your career, there definitely is that potential here too. Here on the bottom, I just put a couple different examples of career paths at Taylor. But again, it could be your career can really take you anywhere. I work with a leader who is amazing. She's currently a general manager of one of our production facilities, but she started in pre-press within production and actually moved into like a senior leadership role in marketing before she eventually came back to operations. So we've seen folks kind of move across the board that way too. So some of the career paths, you could start as a customer service rep. That is one of the key entry points into Taylor, is coming in as customer service and growing into account management. You get to really be that point of contact for our clients and really leading the way for the way that they interact with our facilities and how their orders are getting out. You could take that into a sales role. You could take that into a director of account management. So wherever you'd like to see your career go. On the production side, I know I talked a bit about the team lead path, but you could come in as just a production associate or equipment operator role. Maybe you need a part-time position while you're finishing out school. But then from there, you quickly realize that you want to take it into leadership and you thrive and move into a supervisor role. That ultimately could land you into a plant manager or director of operations position. On the IT side, so thinking about, right, a little bit different and taking it across or more specialized. If you're starting in more of a support role within IT, moving into maybe systems engineering, that could take you to IT manager, right? If you're wanting to grow up, or if you're wanting to grow deep into that subject matter expertise, maybe you want to be a network administrator. Taylor is really awesome about investing in you in the areas that you want to be in. So now thinking about what stands out at Taylor. So we have kind of a few core buckets that we as recruiters look for in candidates. And I would say that this is pretty well universal across all of our facilities because of Taylor, because of our structure, and because of the complexity. I have not yet met an organization that has the structure and complexity that we do. And so that is really where we come in and stand out as being unique. So, some things that we look for: curiosity and continuous learning. So, seeking out feedback, right? Asking questions if there's maybe some gray space. That really shows that you're also taking, initiative if you're having that curious mindset. And that sometimes could lead you to kind of that next big thing at Taylor as well, which we're very focused on, being at the forefront of new and in the market. Adaptability and resilience. So I know I talked about how complex we are, but we also are very fast moving as an organization. And so you have to be able to move quickly on your feet. If you like to stay on your toes and adapt and are used to change and like change, that is something that would be a good fit. Accountability and ownership. This is another thing we look for because no matter what role you're in, we really like to give ownership to our employees and let you own the position that you're in. And so we want someone that wants that space, right? So if you're an equipment operator, owning your machine, owning your space, making sure you're kind of taking it to the next level. Or maybe you are in HR, right? And being the ownership over the space that you are working in. That is a big one, I would say, across our organization, that no matter if you're talking to recruiters or hiring managers, we are looking for that. Collaboration and communication. This goes for any role as well due to how we're structured. That is the biggest push for it, is because even while you might be working within one of our business units, if that client has a need for another printed item and they want to go through Taylor, and maybe your facility doesn't produce it, you're going to be working with another facility to meet that client's needs. So there's a lot of collaboration that takes place every single day, no matter what role you're in. And then problem solving. We really look for this mindset because, again, the complexities, there's going to be a new problem or challenge that presents probably every single day. And so having someone that is willing to and wants to dive into solving that is really critical to success here. How all of those key areas connects to Taylor, I talked about that a bit. I don't want to go through every bullet, but this is a high level snapshot. We have 10 guiding principles at Taylor, and these are the core, I would say 6 of them. Really just points to that continuous improvement, adaptability, communication, both with our clients and then also internally. And then having just an elevated culture, I would call it, where we respect everyone and we also have a culture of selflessness. So always willing to say yes and be that helping hand, picking up where maybe it's not our area of expertise, but another team, needs that support for jumping in. So that really kind of just boils down to our culture, and that comes, what we have found, from bringing in the right talent from the outside. So what would make you stand out, right? Thinking about, okay, I want to explore a career with Taylor. How am I going to stand out from the hundreds of other applications potentially on a role? When you are applying and submitting your resume, think about, how you have taken initiative in the past and how you could present that on your resume. Initiative is huge, and that ties into a few different other areas that I've already talked through. Also demonstrating adaptability. So if you have some really great examples or are able to call out, an organization that you've worked for that has, had a lot of change and you've been able to stay on top of it at a rapid pace, that would be something to call out too. And strong communication and professionalism. I know that kind of sounds like a no-brainer, but essentially, right, like having strong communication with Taylor and showing your engagement and your interest is really important to us. That shows that you can maintain communication and professionalism internally and externally here at our organization. Before I dive into the next piece, which is like pre-employment process, how to connect with us, any questions so far? I've shared kind of a bit of content.
Yeah, we have one here through our Slido app. What are the main skills Taylor looks for in a software engineering intern?
Yeah, really great question. So, one thing that is very unique about our software engineer or software developer roles, really any IT position, is all of our job descriptions, while they have a consistent structure, the core details of them will vary. Being that we have multiple different business units, there are different technology stacks that our teams work with. So, it's not one stack for our entire organization. So I would definitely say take a look at the job description and you're going to find the core technology pieces that are being asked for in the position. Make sure to call that out in your resume. If you've worked with certain projects or have a link to like GitHub or something that houses your projects, absolutely add that on your resume. Our team is going to be looking at kind of those few, we call them the must haves or the must have section on our job description. Our team will be looking at do you have those specific skills and experiences that align to what we're looking for? So again, not necessarily one specific tech stack, but all of our job descriptions are crafted specifically for the role that we're posting. So make sure that you're taking a look at those.
Awesome. Thanks, Ellie. That's a great reminder. Next one here from Emmanuel. Do you have remote positions for IT?
Yeah, really good question. So we as an organization moved to a return to office here in February 2026, where a majority of our positions are all back in an office location. The one space that tends to kind of remain consistent with some remote opportunities is IT. But a look at how that is managed current state. So when we have a position or a job requisition come available, more times than not, we are going out to market for the first probably at least 2 weeks with a specific facility posted and kept in mind for that role, the ideal location, right? If we're not finding the talent for that position within our facility location, then we are opening that up and expanding it to remote opportunities. And that is something that is able to be filtered on our career site as well. So you can search for remote only roles. So we definitely still have some remote opportunities within IT. I would say that's kind of the one specialized bucket, if you will, that is still remote at this time.
Thanks, Allie. And that's all the questions we have for now.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. So yeah, moving into kind of the final piece here. So I'll talk through our pre-employment process as it tends to be pretty consistent throughout the organization, being that we've got a talent acquisition team dedicated here at Taylor. And then here finally, I'll talk about how to connect with us and next steps. So for our hiring process here at Taylor, we first have that starting out with application. We do have a fully built out and robust career site, which is where a majority of applications are driven through, but we do partner with other sites as well. So Handshake, right? In Indeed, LinkedIn, we have ZipRecruiter and various other job boards are all linked to our career site. So you certainly can find our opportunities in various different ways, but application is kind of that initial point of contact with Taylor. From there, you could expect to have a recruiter interview. So our recruiters are going through every application every single day on their specific requisitions and making sure that we're finding the best talent for Taylor and reaching out to connect with those folks that would be a good fit. So you could expect an outreach for that initial phone interview with our recruiters. From there, depending on the role, there's usually 1 to 2 interviews that take place with the hiring team. If it is an operations role or more hourly non-exempt is where we typically only see 1 interview with the hiring team. So you could expect to meet with the hiring manager and then anybody else that would really be influential on this position. That is typically done on site. And then if it is an exempt level role or maybe it's in the IT space and there's a bit of like the technical piece too, you might see 2 different interview rounds where you're pulling in the hiring manager as kind of that team culture fit. And then maybe there's some subject matter experts that we want to pull in for the technical piece that are maybe more adjacent to the role. After interviews conclude is when we would move to the offer process. And so going through offer details, compensation, benefits. We do have a full and comprehensive benefits package that is available day one of employment. So no eligibility, which I also think is very unique on the market. After offer is when we have the pre-employment screens process. Depending on the customer contracts we have and the business unit that a role is within could determine if it's drug screen only or if there is also a piece of like background check as well. So that kind of varies depending on the need for the business. And after pre-employment screens is when you would move to your first day, and onboarding takes place with the field HR team after that. So this is our hiring process in a nutshell. And how to stay connected with us. So a few different ways. I know I talked about our career site. I do have a QR code here. Visit our careers page. That is live at any time. So anytime that we post a role or were to pull it down if there's an offer, it's always updated. So it refreshes continuously throughout the day. You can search roles by location. You can search roles by remote or in person, and also by if there's a specific business unit that you want to work for, you can search that way as well. You can connect with us on Handshake. I'm one of the admins there, so I'm in Handshake all the time. We do post some roles on there, like internships and some early career roles, but that's also a good way to see if we have upcoming events that we're attending as well. And then our contact form. So I have another QR code here. This is our contact form. This is a way for you to express interest in Taylor. And you can also sort it down to if there's a specific area that you're interested in. Maybe it's IT or maybe it's accounting. And so our team, just internally in talent acquisition, uses this form to reach out if we have a new opportunity within your market. We may reach out and just say, hey, we have this new role. Here's the posting if you're interested in. But this list doesn't go anywhere outside of our team. It's more so us to be able to connect with students and others that have shown or expressed interest with Taylor. So these are the core ways for you to engage with us. And then on the next slide that I'll share, I also do have my specific contact information that you can reach out to me directly. I am always open to holding a call just to network. Maybe it's giving some resume feedback, or maybe it's just answering some career questions. I would say at least a couple calls a month I will take with students and other folks across the US just to be, a network and kind of that guiding person for them. So I'm always open to that and having additional conversation. If you do go on our contact form on the QR code, again, so that's just a way for us to check in and see who was engaged from the call today. And then also, if you want to be contacted in the future, which areas, and then we take a look at that. That's a live link for us all day, all week. Moving here, so here's my direct contact information. Feel free to reach out at any time. I'm also on LinkedIn, and so would love to connect and chat further with all of you. That's what I had prepared, so I'm open for questions if anyone has questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allie. We'll go ahead and move over to some Q&A. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat here, or if you'd like, you could raise your hand to come off mute. We do ask that you keep the questions focused on today's topic. If you have something more specific, you can definitely reach out to us afterwards, and we'd be happy to connect with you as well. And then just a quick reminder, if you haven't, we have that Slido app open as well. So feel free to share your answer. That way we can better understand how to help and support you. So we do have a couple of questions here. Let's see. There's not many entry-level positions in IT or software engineering. Is there a time or month in the year when you guys usually have more new grads / internships specifically for IT or software engineering?
Yeah, really good question. So IT is one of those areas that doesn't necessarily have a program built out for internships where it's going to open at a certain time of the year. So for hiring within IT, that is a consistent area that we hire for all year round. And generally speaking, based on, our fiscal year, When budgets open up for the year, usually at the end of quarter 1 is when we'll see a lot of internships come available. Teams know they have funds and the ability to support an internship. So usually in like that March, maybe April timeframe is when you could expect to see more interns. But I will say too, we definitely see some open up here right before the fall semester too.
Awesome. Thank you, Allie. Next question here from Lloyd. Is there a wrong answer for the expected/desired salary question, either during the initial application or the offer period?
Yeah, I love this question. And this is a big topic, so I'll try to keep it kind of high level. And I will say too, so on our application within Workday, our applicant tracking system, we no longer have a question asking about salary on your actual application. We feel that that is more of a discussion point. Now, I will say we do have an AI tool that we're using, Paradox Emily, on our career site. So for certain roles, that are more easily able to identify skills and experience through text. We do have the ability to apply through our AI chatbot, and that is where you might get asked about salary or compensation. I would say be honest because our chatbot is still set up to, if you meet the skills and experience, you will still get pushed to an interview, not based on compensation. When it comes to a live conversation, so in many states, you might all be aware, but in a lot of states so far, there is the requirement to post wage or salary. Now, some states do not, so you might not always see it, but oftentimes here at Taylor, it is in our posting, so you can see what we are hoping to hire for within a certain range. That is a good starting point for conversation, but I am always one of saying, be as transparent as can be early on, because you would hate to invest so much time into multiple interview rounds to have misalignment on compensation. So be honest about where you're at, but also, taking a look in depth at the job description and doing a little bit of market research too within your market to see if what you're expecting and asking for is competitive and fair for the job as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that question, Lloyd, and thanks, Allie. Next one here. What skills or experience do you typically look for in candidates entering marketing operations or cross-functional roles within Taylor?
Yeah, great question. So within our marketing roles, there are a lot of specific technology pieces that you will find within our job postings. One could be, I know a lot of our teams use Adobe, so having experience with the creative suite there. In other areas, it might be that you have the ability to quickly pick up new technologies. And so, in that capacity, right, I would want to recommend that you adjust your resume to show that you maybe have picked up multiple different technologies and can show your willingness to learn. When thinking about cross-functional roles or even marketing at that, communication is at the heart of it. So you're really going to want to take a look at, what is this role doing and how can I pull out the skills that I have, in my experience and apply that on my resume. Um, aside from communication, marketing is, in a sense, kind of project management based. You have to manage your projects day in and day out, be in different technologies, communicate with clients and also internal folks. So, thinking about how you can pull those skills out is really important as well.
Thank you, Allie. We'll give it just another minute here for questions. One that comes to mind, I know with the job market being a bit of a challenge right now, what advice would you give to candidates who are applying but maybe not hearing back?
Yeah. I know that it's very tough, and can be a little bit discouraging at times. And so one thing that I would say initially speaking is, don't stop applying. Right. There are even folks at Taylor that maybe they applied 3 times and just candidate pool or market or timing or whatever the case may be wasn't the right fit, and maybe on that fourth time they land the position with us, right? So whether it's Taylor or not, always keep applying. I also would say do the work to network. LinkedIn, send a request to connect. Also ask if you can get some time just to, meet live or, virtual and have a conversation, or maybe that's even over the phone. Taking that extra step just kind of stands you out from other folks that are in the market. And I will say, especially from a tailor perspective, if we come in contact with someone that is great talent for tailor, even if we don't have a role for them, we take the initiative to get conversations set up with the right people to make sure that we have the talent on our radar. So, yeah, network, 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 and keep applying would be my two biggest things.
Awesome. I'm so glad you mentioned that. In our Slido app, we asked what is the goal in attending Career Quest, and networking was mentioned. So I think that
Awesome.
really just emphasizes how important it is.
Yeah.
And so, yes, for a reminder for our attendees, if you like to drop your LinkedIn in the chat, feel free to connect with each other. Allie, if it's okay, I would love to drop your LinkedIn in the chat
Yeah.
as well. Folks can connect with you. So I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and do that there. And then Fred, I do see your hand is raised, so I can go ahead and pass the mic over to you for a question.
Hi, Ali. I'm Fred. I was looking at the Hot Wheels display you posted
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, and I was
Yeah.
wondering, for those of us pursuing a tech role, do we get to see how our work impacts physical projects like that?
Yeah. Really great question. And super exciting. I feel like there's always new projects coming up that I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that we're doing something so cool. So yeah, for those that are in tech, right? Like you're thinking, I'm behind the scenes, like how much can I actually see the work that I'm doing impacting what's out and visible for our customers and for Taylor's brand? There are actually numerous ways that you would get to see that come to fruition. So one of the ways is we have our internal marketing team pushes out an email every single week that kind of highlights big projects and within specific business units. And so you'd be able to see once the product is all the way at fruition and to end and push out in the market, you can see what that looks like from the customer's view. Another way is that each of our business units, I believe all of them are doing this, but it's a newsletter specific to the work that they're doing, and also highlighting out the different groups or areas that have made an impact on that as well. And that comes from all different areas. So not just within our operations, but also the behind the scenes folks too. And so yes, short answer is that yes, you can see the work that you're doing and how it impacts the end product for Taylor. I definitely would say that there's various ways of that.
And how much, I guess, collaboration can you expect between like the digital teams and the physical manufacturing teams?
Good question. So the level of interaction is going to vary whether you are remote or on site. So if you are on site, I would say that is one advantage. Like we have some of our IT folks that walk out onto the production floor and you can see things in person, right, firsthand. If you are remote, the collaboration that takes place is definitely, team to team to team. And so in no role at Taylor are you siloed where you connect with nobody outside of your group. You could expect to be collaborating with somebody every single day in any role here at Taylor. It just will look a little bit different, whether that's virtual or in person.
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Fred. Let's see here. Next question, are there any IT applicants with no previous projects done? Are they seriously not considered for a position?
Good question. So if we are thinking of an entry level role and you might not have formal experience, but maybe you've got certain things from schooling you can pull out, that still absolutely counts and is considered for a role. I will say in the market where it is so competitive and so many candidates looking at one specific position, it is important to have some type of transferable skill to a role. But again, that could come in various ways of whether that's through schooling, through previous employment, maybe just on your personal time, you've gone out and done some courses, some free courses on the side. All of that is relevant. Oftentimes, it's how you present on a resume and an application in order to get that first conversation. So yes, in general speaking, it's great to have relatable experience, but that could come in many different forms.
Thanks, Allie. Next one here. In your recruiting process at Taylor Corp, how much weight do you place on transferable skills versus direct industry experience?
Ooh, good question. This I would not say is a blanket answer because it can, you know, really vary based on the teams and what they're requiring. In certain roles, like maybe in some, operations leadership, like director of one of our facilities, we really might need to find someone within print industry. But in other cases, right, if you're looking at a marketing role, we might be open to other industries and not necessarily print specific. More times than not, we are looking at skills and experience than we are industry. We very much realize that people are not all coming out of print or graphics communications, but if you can showcase the transferable skills and experience, that's going to be more important to us in most cases.
Thanks, Allie. And yes, great question, Wada. Thank you so much. We'll give it just another minute here for any questions. I know we talked a little bit about networking. So as a
Mhm.
WGU student or alumni, we do have different resources and groups for you to stay plugged into. So my colleague Hank, if you could drop some of those resources, we have WGU Connect, we have Ask a Grad, all really great places for you to network, connect with the WGU community for any questions on careers, mentorships, leadership, things like that. So I would definitely recommend you guys checking those out there. This is recorded, so we'll make sure to send that out along with some of the resources we talked about today. We do have that quick survey as well. If you can take just a minute to complete those 2 questions, that would be fantastic. And then if you have a question later on that you think of, you can always email us and we'll be happy to answer those as well. So we'll give it just another minute here. And thank you
Awesome.
so much, Allie. This has been so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stop sharing, but yes, if anybody wants to connect or has any trouble finding our career site or contact form, please let me know. I'm happy to send that out directly as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then just to emphasize what Ali mentioned earlier, I would highly recommend signing up for the talent community or any job alerts. I know, with businesses, it's kind of based on the hiring need or the business need. And so if you're checking out Taylor's career webpage and you don't see a specific role just yet, make sure you sign up for those job alerts. What that'll do is when a position of your interest gets posted, you'll get an email notification and then that way you can go ahead and apply early, put your resume together, and then be kind of one of those first candidates that apply.
Mhm.
Awesome. And I see Hank dropping in a lot of helpful resources. So thank you so much, Hank. Oh, we do have a hand raised here from Zishan. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I'll pass the mic over to you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
Sweet.
yep.
I hopped in like 5 minutes late. Can I get I was writing the email down, but we moved on like before I could get the second part of it. Could I get your email again? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I will just share as well, just in case that was missed for a few different folks.
For sure.
Here is my email.
Gotcha.
Yep. So follow up with me here. I know Hung also shared my LinkedIn. Connect with me there. As I shared, so myself, but then also everybody else on my team as well. I know we're always open to just having discussion with anyone. Doesn't have to have an end goal or an outcome with that. So feel free to connect with any one of us on our team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions coming through, so I'll go ahead and wrap up here. If anyone has other questions or just wants to hang around after the recording and the session ends, please feel free to do so. I'm happy to answer any questions as well. But we'll go ahead and wrap up today's session. Thank you all so much for being here with us today and for all the great engagement. We hope that this gave you a strong start to Spring Career Quest and helped you feel connected to the great opportunities out there. Our team is here to support you with things like resume interviews, job search strategies, and connecting you with employers through sessions like this. And then Career Quest is all about creating a space of connecting, learning, and real conversations with employers and professionals. So we encourage you to continue signing up for these sessions, and then keep an eye out for that follow-up email and the recording with the short survey as well. And of course, Allie, we like to extend a big WGU thank you to you for your time and insight, and your willingness just to show up for our students and alumni today in such a meaningful way. It is truly so valuable, and we appreciate all your great insights and support here. So thank you again, everyone. We hope to see you at the next upcoming session. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much, everyone. Happy to be here today.